All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome into the Theta Vault. My name is Dave, and today I'm going to talk about my Robinhood portfolio. If you didn't see my last video, I do call credit spreads. I sell call credit spreads, and I've been doing that for the last 3 months or so. And you can see here my last 3 months have gone pretty well. So this is how I've been doing it and what I plan on doing in the future. Let's take a look at my spreadsheet first. We're going to talk about my last 3 weeks because that's where I left off. The first week here was, I believe it was GameStop and Carnival Cruise week. I didn't play any of those because I don't like meme stocks anymore. I used to when I was younger and didn't have this much in my portfolio, but not anymore. So instead, I bought a bunch of random shares, and I don't know why I did this, but I think I was just waiting on the earnings reports to drop for GameStop and CCL. I didn't end up doing it, but I bought these in the meantime. Most of them worked out okay. I think Visa, Conagra, and those I think I lost a little bit on, but the reason I got out of everything was actually because I entered a call credit spread, not on an earning stock like usual, but DJT. You probably know DJT, right? DJT has been going crazy. It's all over Fox News and CNN and Reddit. I mean, when's the last time you saw a stock on Fox News? It's crazy. The amount of exposure that this has had, it's insane. So I had to get into it. I had to do it. I had to sell some call credit spreads, and I was fighting for my life trying to sell these call credit spreads. I mean, at market open, I was sitting at my computer just punching away numbers at my keyboard for like 30 minutes trying to get an order to fill. Nothing was filling. I had to settle for, I think, like 10 or 20% less than the premium I was actually set out to get, but it was still worth it. Let's take a look down here. It was March 27th. Yeah, I did this, and I entered these. I sold these 90 to 95 spreads, which seemed insane to me, and it was insane. But on the off chance that it went up, I was gonna be so blown away. I even sold some 100 to 105 credit spreads just for the fun of it. I still made on 100 of these $2,405, a 20-cent premium on $100 to $105 call credit spreads for a meme stock. Basically, I know I just said I wasn't into meme stocks, but that's the old meme stocks. The new meme stocks are cool because they're in now. But that was that week. That week was crazy. I would do it again. I would go back and do it again in a heartbeat. But next week I did MicroStrategies. Much, much, much chiller. I mean, I sold 20 call credit spreads. Much, much chiller than 387. And this was much easier too. It was a quick 11K, 12K. Not much to worry about. And the reason I did it is because MicroStrategies actually owns a bunch of Bitcoin, and I was kind of bearish on Bitcoin and probably will continue to be bearish on Bitcoin for a while. So I decided, no earning stocks that I liked that week either. So MicroStrategies was really good for me, and it worked out. I mean, we can go look at it. It's not much to look at. It's at 1470 now. I'm pretty sure my spreads were for 2080, 2180. And looking back, it was a great deal. But I think at the time the delta was like 0.12 or 0.13, which is higher than I like to enter. I like to sell it about 0.10 or less. So I took a little bit more risk on this because I was pretty solidly bearish on Bitcoin, and MicroStrategies kind of has been trading in tandem with Bitcoin. So that was that week. Then the next week, it was even more simple. It was just JP Morgan. And you can see here JP Morgan dropped like 6%, which was good and bad for me. It was good because I had the call credit spreads that I sold and I made the premium. But it's bad for me because I had a bunch of banking stocks on my list for next week that they've fallen off. They fell off my list because the whole banking sector is not, it's not collapsing, but it's fallen so much that I'm not really loving the entry points for the call credit spreads next week anymore. And that's kind of just the price you got to pay to take the premium. And it was kind of a lower premium than I would have liked too because I waited until the last minute. I mean, it was just the 12th, and I'm pretty sure the 11th. Yeah, that's when I opened it, one day before the market closed. So, that's what I get for waiting too long, I guess. But that was that. That was that. The last 3 weeks or so, pretty good. 36K minus 7K, so like $29,000. Not too bad. I did withdraw 5,000 to make a purchase, so I guess you could say I got 210. But I don't count the 5,000 because it's gone. Now next week, lots of good stocks to play, including MicroStrategies. I'm gonna continue to be bearish on Bitcoin for the future and for as long as I can think ahead. At least for the next year or so. This is going to stay on my list. It's going to stay on my watch list. The Dave score is pretty high, but the whole thing with Iran happened. Bitcoin kind of tanked over the weekend, so we'll see how the actual opening is for us next week. And then TSM, another big earnings stock coming up. This one's been talked about for a long time. It's a semiconductor stock, and you know how the semiconductor industry has been. I think it's a little overvalued. I think it's overhyped, but I thought the same about Micron. And if you don't know what happened with Micron, it went insane, like 13%. I don't know. If that happened again with TSM, I mean, 13% would be right about at the point I would start losing money. So I would not like to see that. So I've also got Netflix on here. I think I put like 5 or 6 of these, 7 of these spreads on here. Its all-time high is 680. And I don't think it's going to even go to its all-time high. But I'm looking at the 730, 735, 740 range. If I do decide to sell a call credit spread, I do think this one is really overhyped also because of what happened the last earnings. It jumped 10 or 15%. So I do think it's overhyped a little bit. And for the delta value, I think the premium is great. The Dave score is looking good, mid 80s or so. Stocks like ISRG, American Express, I put on here just to see their earning stocks that have a pretty high price right now for the stock, but I don't like it too much, and the Dave scores don't reflect well, so I'm probably not looking at those. And then we have WAL, which is a bank stock, and this one was the only one that didn't really fall off my list for next week because the premium stayed pretty high. However, the Dave score fell, and I'm not really liking it anymore. So that's where it stands for next week. Still not sure what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to wait and see how the market reacts to the whole thing that happened in Iran. If you don't know what happened, Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel. The U.S. got involved, and so everyone's kind of panicking, like little mini panic. Not really panicking, but we'll see how the investors react and how the stock market reacts before I make any major decisions next week. And until then, though, I might buy some stocks. I might just let it sit in my cash sweep program, make my 5% a year. Until then, I have gold for a reason, Robinhood gold for a reason. So we'll see how that goes. Until then, though, good luck on the markets. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a comment, subscribe. If you got a question, you can DM me or leave a comment. I'll try to get back with you here in a day or two. And yeah, good luck in the markets and have a great rest of the weekend.